this really starts to paint a pretty darn clear picture as to what needs attention and what doesn't.
Neurology is still a somewhat inexact science.
We're dealing with the brain, and there's nothing predictable about the brain.
Just as Caitlin and her parents did last October, we went to Asheville to see Dr. Michael Trayford, the one doctor with neurological training who examined Caitlin and was willing to talk to us about it.
So what were your first impressions when you met Caitlin?
It was definitely a case that was right up our alley, so to speak, in our wheelhouse.
Caitlin came to his Apex Brain Center for a full day of testing and evaluation.
We're comparing her brainwave activity to other females her age with no known problems. So what we see here, blues indicate less than normal activity, reds indicate higher than normal activity. She has tremendous deficits in alpha brainwave activity. Alpha brainwaves are what help us corral our attention, our focus, and if we don't have attention and focus, we can't learn effectively. So you can learn things, but they're not going to stick around very long.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what baffles most people who meet Caitlin now. They see her at school, see that she remembers what happened that day, so why is it all gone so quickly?
Is there any explanation for why she forgets today when she wakes up tomorrow?
What we learn throughout the course of the day is encoded or hardwired essentially when we sleep. But the fact is, if the brain is under a significant amount of undue stress during the day with high cortisol responses, coupled with the low alpha brainwave activity that we're seeing, she just may simply not have the capacity to allow those connections to happen while she's sleeping.
That was the very difficult message Dr. Trayford had for the littles.
And that was probably the hardest day because we drove to Asheville, we did got the results that day, and then had a very long ride back with our daughter, realizing the right side of her brain was no longer functioning and the left side working so hard that it was pooping out midday, which made sense of what we were seeing with her every day. Everything made sense. It's just not the sense we wanted to hear.
I told Jennifer what I believed to be true at the time, that actually this is a good thing. Okay, now we have a clinical test that shows that there is a problem, where the problem is. So now we can choose a direction. Maybe this will help us find a treatment method that will be effective.
People want definitive answers, but sometimes they're just not available.
Exactly, exactly.
But Dr. Trayford says that doesn't mean there isn't hope.
There's nothing that tells me that a certain treatment is all of a sudden going to get her memory back, but the fact is, if we can enhance, improve, alter the wiring, the neurological wiring, the brainwave activity, electrical activity in the brain, and everything else we're looking at, that she has a higher probability, very likely, of being able to get those things back.
One of those treatments is a low-level cold laser.
The impacts have been shown in the literature to increase what we call neurogenesis, or production of new nerve cells.
Dr. Trayford demonstrated it on me, and along with things like neurofeedback, he believes that it can provide hope for some recovery for Caitlin.
It really helps facilitate recovery from brain injury in most cases that we see, because now people can tolerate higher levels of stimulation.
And Dr. Trayford insists you shouldn't downplay the efficacy of hope.
My 20 years at this, I have seen people that have been written off by everyone, including their families, their friends, their healthcare providers, and sometimes themselves. And then they've gotten to the point where they found the appropriate resources, whether it's us or somebody else, that doesn't matter. But the fact that they keep seeking, that they never lose hope. Hope is the greatest catalyst of recovery, bar none. People will call that placebo, they will call it other things, but the fact is, we'll take it. If that's enough of a catalyst to get people to where they need to be,